15th pick in the NFL draft.
Hey, make us lunch. We're hungry.
Yo everybody, how you doing? King Dingbat here, and welcome to my AFC Top 5 Power Rankings. Yesterday we did the NFC, today we're doing the AFC. Now, the one thing I think a lot about when I think about the AFC is I really would like to do a top 10. I don't think there's as many top-notch teams in the AFC as there are in the NFC, so I think it's a lot more debatable, and there's about 2 or 3 teams that I would literally could put at my 5th spot. Okay, I could literally put them at my 5th spot in my top 5. I think that the AFC is kind of more wide open, except for maybe the top 3 teams. But this is my top 5 nonetheless. I can't wait to see what you think about it. And let's start with number 5. At number 5 in the AFC, I currently have the Oakland Raiders. I have the Oakland Raiders who go out, they get John Gruden back. Now, John Gruden reminds me a lot of Dick Vermeil, right? He goes into broadcasting for several years. He gets to learn a lot of things from talking to a lot of different coaches, seeing different players, and maybe he gains more perspective. He learns a lot as a coach. He comes back to the NFL, and now we're going to see if he could do what Dick Vermeil did and bring his team a championship. I like the moves that the Raiders made. I know some people actually might not, but I did. Bringing in Martavis Bryant especially to go along with what they already had. Derek Carr, Amari Cooper, to bring him in with that speed on that offense is really explosive. Not to mention, they also signed Jordy Nelson, who I really don't know what he has left, but I think the Martavis Bryant is a big upgrade for them on the offense. Then they went and they drafted Colton Miller in the first round. I think the Raiders are doing a lot of good things. I have them number 5, and it'll be interesting to see what happens. I got to admit to you, I think that the Raiders are going to be very fun to watch this year. I really like Derek Carr. I like the weapons he has this year. He's going to have a better coach, and I think the Raiders are on the rebound, are on the move. Now at number 4, I have a team that I think is very, very good. I think this team could be a real sleeper in the whole NFL, and that is the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, if you remember last year, the Chargers started off real slow. I think they started like 0-4, I want to say, but they finished up pretty strong. They got it going, and when it comes to this year and this offseason, They kept a lot of their guys. They went out and they signed Mike Pouncey, right, the center. And I thought this was a great signing. This is a big upgrade for them. And if you give Phillip Rivers time, if you give Phillip Rivers protection, he will eat you up. Phillip Rivers is a really, really good quarterback. Then, in the draft, they took my favorite defensive player, Derwin James. Derwin James is safety, which is a position they really needed. Now you have him with Bosa and all those guys. They are scary. This is a scary team. And let's not forget, they have Keenan Allen, Melvin Gordon. They're also getting Mike Williams, who was, the 7th overall pick the year before. I think the Chargers are a big sleeper. Maybe they're not a sleeper. Maybe a lot of people recognize them for being what they are. But I think this is a really, really good team. And I wouldn't be surprised if they win the AFC West. Matter of fact, right now, I'm probably predicting them to win the AFC West. So, at number 4, I have the Chargers. Now, that takes us to number 3. Number 3, I have the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers they're the team that is always going to be in there. Ben, Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown, Juju Smith, I love. And they go out, and I don't think they did a whole lot in free agency, but they did get Morgan Burnett, the safety, which is something they needed. And I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to do what the Pittsburgh Steelers do. They're going to go out, they're going to score points, they're going to win games, and they're going to be a little bit better defensively. But I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are always going to be in the talk when you look at the AFC, especially going into this season early. So I have Pittsburgh at 3. That takes me to number 2. Now, the number 2 team is one of the teams that I have a soft spot in my heart for. I'm not going to lie. I don't have a second favorite team in the NFL. I don't play that. But I can't but help always kind of root and like and want to see the Jacksonville Jaguars do good. And that's why, I'm glad that they're, reborn. They are back. And I have them ranked number 2. Now, they lost Allen Robinson, which was a huge, huge loss. Okay, it was definitely a huge loss. But they did go out. They did get a guard in Andrew Norwell. So the offensive line is only getting better. They signed Dante Moncrief. And I think that this is going to be a good team. Again, this is a defensive-minded team. Their defense is scary and it's nasty. And that's why I have the Jacksonville Jaguars at number 2 in my power rankings. Now, that'll take us to the number 1 team in the AFC in my power rankings, and that is the New England Patriots. The New England Patriots are the number 1 team in the AFC right now. They're the number 2 team in the NFL. Thank you to these guys right there, the champs. Now, New England had a lot of losses this year in terms of players. They lost Deion Lewis, Amendola, I guess Malcolm Butler, even though they didn't really like him that much. And then the biggest loss I thought was Nate Solder. But in the end, New England has Belichick, they have Brady, they make things work, and I'm sure they'll get it going again. They also made some good trades, I thought. Jason McCourty, Danny Shelton, those guys were good trades for them, and I think the biggest question I have about New England is going to be that offensive line. Losing Nate Solder is a big loss. So that's my whole thing. But in the end, they brought in some guys. And I'll tell you this. Cordell Patterson, they brought him in. And I think that's very interesting. The way Belichick uses some of these guys, don't be surprised if he has all of a sudden he becomes a real good player. I mean, he's got a lot of talent already. Going to New England, I'm very intrigued to see what he does. But New England, with Brady, with Belichick, they're always going to be up in the conversation. So I have New England right now ranked number 1 in my AFC Power Rankings. I definitely will do this again next month. I was trying to keep this video a little shorter than the other one, so we'll see how it goes. But if I can get it shorter, I would like to do actually top 10 because that would be fun. But my top 5 AFC, again, is 1, the New England Patriots. Number 2, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Number 3, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Number 4, the Los Angeles Chargers. And number 5, John Gruden and the Oakland Raiders. So that's my top 5 for the AFC this month. I will come back in mid-June and do this again, and we'll see if anything changes. With that said, take care. Talk to you later, and don't be a dingbat.